previous clip, my little Ranger here developed a bit of a ticking noise. And without getting too invasive, the first thing I want to try, as it feels like it's in the head, it sounds like it's in the valve train anyway. But first thing I'm going to try is the cam chain tensioners. I've currently got about 230,000 kilometers on this thing. For you Americans, you can do the conversion, but it's getting up there in mileage. I doubt these tensioners have ever been done. And on these 4-liter Fords here, there's a tensioner obviously for each bank. So to get at the driver's side bank, or the left-hand bank it's called because it's always as you sit in the truck and you're looking forward, you have to take the airbox, the boot, unplug obviously the mass airflow sensor, yada yada yada. That's all easy. Take off the 4 bolts that secure the throttle body on, disconnect the cruise control, the throttle cable. It's all really easy. The tensioner for the left bank sits in that hole right in there. And I've seen guys on other YouTube videos, they would take the whole entire thermostat housing off, but I was able to do it with just taking the cover, the thermostat cover you need to take off. You can leave the thermostat in there, and then you have to remove, there's 2 electrical temperature sensors, I believe they are. So this one I've just left plug in, but this one came from that hole on the left. And then you have to take out the one on the right, which I have it right here, and they're held in by these little clips that slide through. They just, pair of pliers, they pull right out. You have to, the right hand one, this one right here, it's a very tight fit to get it out. It wants to hit the bottom of the connector. To remove the connector, it wants to hit the bottom of the throttle body, and you'll think, oh shit, it won't fit. I have to take the whole thermostat out, anyway, I was about to do that. I was getting frustrated, but it will work. It does come out, and you don't have to be too hard on anything. So how I did it is, make sure you move the left hand one first, and then you can kind of, it's not great for the seal, but you can kind of contort this with the connector still on. You can kind of bend it this way a little bit and slowly pry and wiggle, and it will come out. Anyway, it is possible to do it like that. And then to remove the tensioner, all I used was just a 27mm wrench straight through here. It slipped on perfectly. Or you could use a 27mm deep socket and come from this angle underneath the throttle body. There is enough room. I just didn't have a 27 deep. Anyway, yeah, that's how you get at the left-hand bank one. And the right-hand bank, it's in the aft part of the engine, so it's at the back and you can't get it from up here. But this is the easy one. Just take your wheel off, pull out, wreck your mud flap with these stupid fasteners. Anyway, peel it back, look up, and you can see the hole right there. Very easy to get. I just used I had a 27mm shallow. You can use a shallow on this one. I'll show you why in a second. But with a slight wobble extension, and then that thing come right out of there, no problem actually. So these are the ones I removed. This is the left-hand bank, so the forward one. As you can see, it's got a long kind of end on it, so if you're going to use a socket, you definitely need a deep socket, otherwise you'll bottom out. Or like I just used a 27mm wrench. And then here's for the right-hand bank. Now this one, when I removed it, I haven't done anything. Obviously the oil's been leaking out of them a little bit, but right after I removed this, both of them actually, I was kind of testing them, and I could move it in pretty much all the way bottomed, and that's not a hell of a lot of force that I'm putting on it right now. So I'm hoping this is the culprit right here. It's as if it wasn't holding any oil, or the seal, the internal seal was blown on it or something, but I could pretty much bottom it without requiring much force. And this one, I could move it. Now a little bit of oil has leaked out, keep in mind, but I could only move it to about there before it starts to get stiff. So this one appears to be working, but what I'm going to do is, I kind of want to test this one. So I'm going to put it in this bucket of oil here, work it back and forth to prime it, and let's see if it gets solid. And then we're going to try the new ones. So here's the old one. Just dip it in the oil, make sure it's completely submerged. You want to get the back, there's a hole back here, and you want to get it submerged because that's where it's going to draw the oil from. And I'm just going to pump it back and forth. And hopefully it tightens up. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. I think the internal seal's gone in that, so this might be my problem right here. So they have an internal spring, and all its job is on initial startup when you have no oil pressure. The spring is what's providing tension on the chain guide. But once the engine's running, and if an oil pressure is getting to it, if it's just bypassing through and then not forcing the plunger out, especially with the engine under load and the chain under load, that's where you get it failing. But I think this thing's screwed. I'm going to try this is the old one from the left-hand bank. I want to see if I can get this to tighten up more. Just for shits and giggles. We're here now. Yeah, nothing's happening. It doesn't feel any different. Anyway, maybe that one's kind of on its way out too. Not as bad as the right-hand bank, but let's try the new one. Okay, so right away I got the new one in here, and as I pushed it in, I could see bubbles coming out, and that's what I expected to see out of the old one. That means there's kind of an airtight seal in there, and when you push it in, you evacuate the air out of it. See that? And you can hear it too. Oh, there we go. It's getting stiff now. Oh, it's stiff. I think that's as much as we're gonna get in there. Shit. Oh, now it's completely solid. That's what you want. I can't move it at all right now. So I'm just gonna set it down. I want to trap as much oil in there and keep it in there now that it's primed. So I'm just gonna set it down with that hole facing up. Okay, so we'll put the hole facing up. Hopefully it starts sucking here soon. Well, I had to use two hands, so I'd shut the camera off for a bit, but now it's tight. It does not move at all when you push down, and that's how you want it. So maybe I did have two bad tensioners after all. One really bad, but the other one didn't seem to want to hold oil for that first little bit, so I'll throw them in the truck and we'll give it a try. And before you fire the new one in, have a good look in both holes. See that hole drilled in the focus? Let me see if I can get you in closer. See that hole drilled right in the threads there? That's where your oil pressure comes up through into the hole I was showing you in the body of the tensioner that actually operates the thing. So make sure there's no shmoo in there or any sorts of blockages and shit. Also check if there's a gasket underneath the tensioner. Now both of these, I believe they're the originals. They didn't have a crush washer gasket at all, but these Cloy's replacement ones I got from Rock Auto, they do. So I'm gonna put them on, it doesn't hurt, and crank that sucker in there. I think most people are saying they're supposed to be around, I don't know, like we'll say 45 to 60 foot-pounds, but with my calibrated torque wrench being my arm, I'm just gonna wind that sucker until it's tight and hope she doesn't leak. So as you can see, a box end will fit in here. It's kind of a pain in the ass to slide it by everything, but it does fit, and yeah, you can crank it down. But like I said, a 27mm deep socket from over here would be a lot faster. But I'm just a YouTube mechanic slash half-time aircraft mechanic, and I can't afford a 27 deep, so I do it the slow way, like a peasant. Oh, fuck. Ow, fuck. Okay, another point about putting this one back in. See, I've just got it started now, but I pooped myself there for a little while because I couldn't get the son of a bitch started, and I thought for a second, oh shit, like, did I cross-thread it? So I fired the old one in, and even it was struggling to start for a little bit, but it just threaded in fine. When you're starting these, do them by hand, and what I think happens is, this one being brand new, when you put it in, it's already kind of touching the guide, so now that it's a brand new stiff tensioner, you have to kind of compress it to get the threads to engage. So just a point to remember. Push in and to kind of compress it and try and start the threads. You'll get it. Don't poop yourself like me. Okay, so I got those little pricks back in there. But yeah, you can see the tensioner itself won't come out until you get those sensors or whatever the hell they are out of the way. And the clips that just hold them in like that, they just snap in. You just use a pair of needle nose pliers. And obviously, I didn't mention before, but it should go without saying, before you tear into any of this, especially taking the thermostat cover off, make sure you drain a little bit of water out of the system. Just with the pretty much all of these will come with a drain of some sort on the base of the radiator. So I drained, I don't know, maybe 4 liters of water out of it, and it didn't make a mess at all when I opened it up. But yeah, make sure you do that, otherwise you're gonna have a huge ass mess on your hands. Well, she's back together. Let's give it a go. Now let's see if we can't make a mess. I think the damage has been done. No. Damage has been done. Sounds like it's coming from this one. Even though it was that back one that it looked like it failed anyway. Both of them were kind of weak. But let that be a lesson for you kiddos. Don't buy a Ford Ranger.